Okay, so we're on to subgraphs. This is probably one of the most technical parts, and I think it's one of the stages in the development of a mod which a weapon author kind of dreads, because it's a bit of a chore, and you really have to pay attention to what's going on. So yeah, I hope this goes well. So what exactly is a subgraph? Well, subgraphs are sort of part of the race system in the game, and here we have the race sub category open, and we can see that we have all the types of creatures in the game and all their associated animations and attributes and things like that are all sort of contained within here. Let's click on the actual subgraph entry for the human race, and yeah, this might look complex, and that's because it is. There's no real way around it. There's the one we care about is weapon. The weapon entries. Perspective refers to either third or first person. We scroll down. Eventually, we get to first, I think. Yeah, there we go. Or the first. There's less first person entries than third, and the reason for that is because if we expand this section, we see that in first person there's none of these actor keywords, and what these do is they alter the third person animation based on what's happening to the player, or I should say the NPC which is using the human animations. So if they're a synth or they have an injured arm, I assume ability refers to the legs and just injured refers to the arms. So if they have injured legs or arms, basically what this does is it layers the animations. So for example, if you're walking along and your leg is crippled, it'll layer on limp onto you. If your right arm is crippled, it would have both the left mobility injured and the right injured, so you'd be limping along and holding your right arm. So it's that kind of layered animation system which we're kind of looking at here. Okay, so that's sort of what a subgraph looks like, and what we need to do is take the information out of this. We can actually see here we've got the weapons, so the alien blaster. There we go. There's the 44 anims which we want to basically extract out and modify and then re-add in an additive fashion onto the subgraph data. But we'll start off with something easier. Yeah, by the way, I'm not sure why this window is so big. It might be another symptom of the fact that I've got a bigger monitor than the resolution I'm running. But yeah, if I hit escape, it just leaves the window. If I hit enter, it hits OK, I assume. So I hope it works properly. But yeah, let's start off with something very easy, which is making our own anims keyword. And yeah, just to associate. There's no type to these keywords, so all we really need to do is type in anims hunting revolver, and then go to our weapon, our hunting revolver, and then replace the 44 vanilla anims 44 keyword with ours. There you go. Right, so now it's associated with the future animations which we're going to be creating in the subgraphs. Okay, now we get into the nitty-gritty stuff. So let's go back to the human subrace, human race subgraph data. We're going to duplicate it. I do actually have a second creation kit open with my layer mod open, just for reference, in case I need to check I'm doing things properly. But we'll call it the name of our mod plus the additive keyword. Not keyword, just additive ID on the end, just so we know what we're doing. And we want to set this to additive, so that we're essentially adding these entries onto the human race subgraph data. Okay, hit enter. No, yes. And now we have our additive subgraph. Okay, it's easy enough. Now what we'll do is we will actually hit export here, which will export all of this information we see down here into a text file. Okay, but before I do that, I just want to explain what I've done before recording this. And I used Bethesda Archive Extractor. Let's just close this so it's not distracting in the background. I used Bethesda Archive Extractor, and I've extracted the animations specifically for the 44 pistol. So meshes, actors, this is the animations.ba2. So it's meshes, actors, character, animations, and then weapon, 44 pistol. And these are the third person animations, right? Now if I go here, then meshes, actors, character, first person, animations, 44 pistol. These are all the first person animations. So we've got the third person animations and the first person animations. And later on we'll also do the power armor animations, which are around. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. But yeah, so we'll go to the paths that I just showed. There we go. Here are all the first person animations. What we'll do is we'll copy this, and we'll go to our hunting revolver folder, which I made new, and paste it here. And then we'll go to our third person. Yeah, there's the power armor. So it's meshes, actors, power armor. But don't worry about that right now. So meshes, actors, character. This time we're going to go into animations, weapon, 44 pistol. Copy all of these. So these are the animations used by everything by default, and then the player uses these animations which overwrite these, and synths use these animations which overwrite these. Hope you're following this. I'm trying to go relatively fast, but also relatively careful because there's just so much to cover. So right, all we've done is duplicated the vanilla 44 animations into our own file paths for custom animations. So we're going to set up the subgraph, go in game, make sure that these copied animation files are actually playing properly, all of them, and then we'll know when we replace these files with our own files that it'll work. Okay, so we have the vanilla files copied over. Now all we need to do is tell the game that we want to use these paths for the hunting revolver weapon. Okay, so I'll do what I said. Let's actually go to the actors. So here you see a few text files from what I've exported and imported in the past. So if I go to the vanilla subgraph data and export it, it says it's exported it into this path. And there it is. Okay, so let's open Notepad++. Let's save first, just in case. So I've got Notepad++ open. This is a free editor, really good. And what I want to do is turn off word wrap. Make sure I've got it turned off, yeah. Because if you have it turned on, then all the lines sort of stack into each other and it becomes a bit of a mess. So you want word wrap off. And here we can actually see on the left, you can see here the MT and the weapon entry. It's the same columns which we saw before. We have all the mobility, the sort of pose types here stacking up on the right, and then we see here the anims 44 keyword. See there, I double click it. It highlights all of the anims 44 keywords in the file. And what we want to do is keep all of these lines and get rid of everything else. So right, I think what I'll do is I'll hit Control F for a find. Find all. It should give me a find all in current document. Yeah, there we go. Right, so we can read the lines here. Every time the anims 44 keyword is used on that line, it's bringing up that line for us. So we've got line 165 to, looks like, keeps going, yeah. Line 165 to 212, and then we have line 2296, which is the path for the first person animations. So all we really need to do is delete every other line that isn't included in these lines. So let's go to the end of line 164. and then select everything above it. Oh, might want to avoid deleting the top line. Wonder if I can... No. I'll just go the other way. I'll leave the first line because that might be important. I'm not entirely sure. 164. Right, then just hit remove. Right, and then from 213 213 down to 2295. Okay. Two, 295. I can't see the 44 keyword there. Might have to be careful about this. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's just check again. Oh yeah, because I might have changed the... Okay. Oh yes, of course. So when I did the search, obviously there were, you know, over 2,000 or whatever lines in this txt. Just save. Now that I've deleted all those lines, obviously the line number which it used to be on is now changed. So I need to find it in the current document again. And the new line is 2133. So yeah, silly me. Let's try that again. Yeah, anonymous group pistol. Yes, that's the alien blaster, so go all the way down to 2132. 132, and we can see there Anims 44 on the left side on line 2133. So we want to keep 2133. Boom. Hit delete, and then we'll delete the rest of these. Delete. Okay, so what we're left with is only the lines that are associated with the Anims 44 keyword. Perfect. Right, let's back out of this and just rename this. And we need to name this the same as we've named our subgraph entry. So we're going to call it revolver additive. Okay. Now, oh yeah, there's one more thing to do. So we're going to select all of the Anims 44 keywords and we're going to replace with Anims hunting revolver. Make sure I get the spelling right. Replace all. Okay, so that's changed all of the paths. Let's pick out a path and see if we can't. This really is like the Matrix, isn't it? Okay, right, so we need to also change these paths. Really quite complicated. Okay, so actor's character. Oh, let's go to the first person line. Actor's character first person animations 44 pistol. Okay. So we really just need to replace this with hunting revolver. Okay. Let's see if there's any more references to 44 in the file. No. Okay, so there's no more references to the 44 pistol. Okay, the first person animations, hunting revolver. So yeah, we should be done, I think. So yeah, it's kind of a bit hard to look at all this text in Notepad. So what we'll do is we'll open our subgraph and we'll simply hit import. There we go, imported. Right, we're here. This doesn't quite look right. There should be more target keywords than that. Oh, or should there? No, there shouldn't. Okay, I think we're fine. I think I opened the wrong column. Okay, right, so we haven't actually opened any of these entries yet, so I might as well now. what we can see here is this is the behavior graph for the first person animations. We can see this ticked down here, and that this is the only entry for first person. So we have our target keywords here. So if there's a weapon using the Adam's hunting revolver keyword, that's what this is going to be assigned with. We've got our behavior file up here, which is sort of something we can't really edit. It's something that's assigned to, you know, generic pistols in the game. Weapon role, and this is the key part, the paths. So the game will search from top to bottom the paths. So it will search here first for the animations, then here, and then here. So we'll open a more complex one in a minute. But that's what you really need to know is you can't put a path that's longer. Let's just open a more complicated one. So here are the additional actor keywords which we're now working with, as well as an additional keyword which is on the weapon. And you can see here that the path slowly gets shorter. And that's because we can't. It'll search the deepest path first, or at least it should do. You know, we should put the deepest path at the top, and then it gets essentially shallower and shallower on the way down until we've sort of backed out of the file paths. So yeah, if it can't find the animations it needs here, it'll go to the next path, and then the next, and the next, until it has everything it needs. Okay, let's hit enter and save. And let's take a look in game and see what we've ended up with here. Alright, we're in game, and it might look like nothing's actually changed. But this is very good. We've actually done a really big thing here, which is to separate out the subgraph correctly. But if we do go into third person... Oh no. I'm frozen. This is exactly what I expected, because what we need to do is we need to generate additional metadata for the game to calculate the sort of movement speed and all that stuff for our third person animations. So the first person subgraph is quite easy to set up and have it work, whereas the third person paths are obviously a lot more complicated, as we saw. And we need to generate some additional metadata to have that work, so I'll show how to do that next. Alright, let's generate our metadata. So all I'm going to use is a bat file, and they give you the code on the creation kit wiki. Hunting. Okay, right, so let's right click it and edit with Notepad. And this is all it really is. It's just one line, and we're initiating the creation kit to actually generate this information from a certain ESP, which has to be the correct name, and deposit it in this path, which will be outside of our actual Fallout 4 data path. So yeah, make sure we've got the name correct, and then we just double click it. And it has to be in the same directory. So another creation kit instance will open, provided you have the... Let me see if I have... Yeah, so if you have B allow multiple master loads, then I believe you're allowed... Oh no, it's this one, B allow multiple editors equals 1. Then you're able to have multiple creation kits open, which I find very useful for referring to, you know, which I didn't really need to in the end, but referring to different ESPs. Can be useful to have another one open if you're to look at the vanilla files as you're working on your mod, if needs be. But yeah, basically this window will open, and this creation kit will load the files and sort of process the metadata. So that'll take a minute or two. So see you in a moment. Okay, so the processing is complete. The creation kit did close when it finished that, and it did take a few minutes, maybe because I had 3 instances of creation kit open. But anyway, right, where do we find this data? So all we need to do is go into our Up a folder, and it should be in a data folder here. Now we do need to go further in than this. So for some reason it does another anim text data meshes. It sort of does this twice for some reason, but anyway, we'll copy this folder, and then we'll go to our full Up4 directory, find the data folder, go into meshes, and paste. Now this anim text data is unique to this hunting revolver ESP. What we don't want to do is copy in multiple different anim text datas from different weapons, because they can sort of clutter up the place and can cause conflicts. So that's why I have these past anim text data folders, which I've generated in the past, named differently so that they don't conflict. Because I'm working on 2 other mods as well as this one at the same time. Okay, let's go in game and see what the result of all that did. Okay, we're back and in game. And alright, let's test the third person. Great. So yeah, it works perfectly. The generating the metadata now allows me to actually move around in third person, which is good. If I was able to cripple myself, we could actually have a stab at that. .6033. Oh, that's a Merv. Okay, I'll do. This'll be fun. Ow. And now, yeah, I can move around. Well crippled. So the metadata is working perfectly. All good. Okay, so at this stage, we're actually ready for custom animations. So the next section will cover extracting the vanilla animations, converting them so that they can be imported into 3ds Max, and then sort of exporting them as reference poses, and then kind of editing those to our own tastes, and then creating them, converting them back into the HKX format, which you might have seen earlier, for use with this custom weapon. Alright, so I thought I'd just really quickly show what the power armor subgraph might look like once you've completed it. And it's actually a lot simpler than the non-power armor subgraph, but it's the same sort of concept. So here, this is actually more complex than you'd expect, because we have additional. The layer has different barrels. So there's one barrel which spins, and you'd have the anims layer barrel rapid keyword added on to that. So it has to look through these folders first before the others. But effectively, you can use the first-person animations for your power armor animations. So if we actually look at the layer paths, so if we go to the power armor path for the layer, yeah, there's only 2 animations here, the sprint and the run forward. And everything else, if we go and find the standard, so it looks here first to grab these 2 animations, and then for the rest it just goes straight to the non-power armor animations, because they're perfectly fine for use with the in power armor. The only difference is these are both movement animations, and the reason why we have to create our own is because of the footstep sounds. So getting a bit ahead here, this is something we'll cover in the future, but when you create animations, you can add these annotations which trigger sounds, and the default, if you were to use the default non-power armor run forward, ready and sprint animations, the footstep sounds would be very fast and not suitable for power armor, which has footsteps which are much slower. So all we do is we open the run forward ready and the sprint animation files which we've made, and slow them down and spread out the keyframes as well as the annotation sounds, so that they're much more spread out and sort of stompy. And then we export those and just paste them in this folder. So yeah, that's sort of what a power armor subgraph looks like. This is probably more complex than usual, because of all the different keywords that the layer can have. Let's take a look at the standard subgraph actually, and this is a really quite complicated subgraph, there's a lot of first person. So I think in here somewhere I actually have a keyword for the fast reload, and I haven't done what's the conventional thing to do is, which is to just speed up the standard reload by 20% or whatever. I've actually done an entirely separate faster reload. Well, my friend Harry did an entirely separate faster reload, and I created a standard reload, so there's two separate reloads. So when you install the magazine mod, which has a faster reload, it's actually an entirely different reload, but that is faster. So I hope this gives you some idea of what a subgraph may look like, and kind of how they work, because yeah, it can be quite a tough one to get your head around. Yeah, there's a few more relatively difficult things to get through, and then we can actually start animating this thing.